Welcome back, guys, to a wonderful episode of Sporting Perspective. It is the beginning of the NFL season. I can't believe it is already here. Games start tonight with the Cowboys and Eagles. It feels like it's been a long time since we saw the Eagles win the Super Bowl over the Chiefs. James, how excited are you for this new 2025 season to begin?
I'm excited, per usual. It's always fun. The start of every new sports season is always just a great time. Weather starts to cool off, unless you're in Arizona. Um, Tons of storylines always going into the year. Everyone is 0-0 with a Super Bowl uh, chance until your team loses week one and you start panicking. But no, it should be fun. I'm excited. I'm ready. Ready for 7 hours of commercial-free football with Red Zone on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Getting going again, and I know we're about to make our divisional picks, but I wanted to make a note. There's like 12 to 16 teams this year that feel like they have a real chance at winning the Super Bowl. Very different from years past, where there's kind of 5 to 7. But this year there seems like there's a lot of really good teams and a lot of parity in this league at this point.
Yeah, I agree with you there, and I'm sure after a couple of weeks, some of those teams might fall off, as it always happens. But yeah, they're looking at just every team in every division. It seems like there's almost two teams in every division who you're like, oh yeah, I could see that team winning the division.
Yeah. Well, let's just get right into it then. We'll start with the AFC. We'll start with the East. Who do you have coming out of that division winning it?
I'm taking the Bills, taking the chalk pick. The Patriots, to me, I think they'll be better. Honestly, all those teams will be well. The Jets and the Patriots, I think, will be better. They're not on the Bills level. In Miami, I think regresses a bit. That team's just getting older. If Tua's out, that offense just absolutely plummets. Um, yeah, I like the Bills. I think you can't pick against Josh Allen right now. He's too good.
Yeah, I don't have much to add there. I have the same pick, Bills. But a lot of the things that you said, I pretty much would just repeat. So let's move forward. AFC North.
I'm taking the Bengals. I believe in that offense. I think that offense is going to run it back as they showed with the contracts they gave to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Chase Brown is another year in that system. The big thing for me is if they can just have any lick of a defense, they probably would have been a division or a playoff team last year. So I'm banking on that defense to be a tad better. They re-signed Trey Hendrickson. Um, I mean that's a tough division, but I'm taking the Bengals.
So I'm going a little chalky. I'm going to go with the Ravens. They've been very good for the past few years. Lamar is MVP or runner up, it feels like every single year at this point. Cincinnati's defense, I believe their defense actually got worse than better. Um, I don't believe in the Browns. I think the Steelers fit in the third in this division. Cincinnati, I think they're going to score a lot of points. My big concern is how many points are they going to give up. I feel good about Baltimore's defense, and Baltimore's got a lot of weapons. I mean, we don't know how much DeAndre Hopkins is going to be as a third receiver, but if he's even half of what he was the last few years, that's a hell of a weapon to add on to an already very explosive Baltimore Ravens offense as long as they stay healthy. So I went a little chalky there, but it's hard to pick against the Ravens, especially what we've seen the last well ever since Lamar has gotten there. So we'll move over to the South. I feel like this one's very, very has a lot of different possibilities as it's still a very young division.
I honestly had no idea what to do with this division. I'm taking the Texans just because I believe that CJ Stroud could make a comeback and show what he did 2 years ago. Um, and honestly, because Nico Collins was having a career year last year before he got hurt, I think he's probably the best receiver in that division. Um, I don't know. A lot of those teams they're better than they were. I mean, you have Liam Cohen with the Jags, so you'd think that the offense with Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence might actually finally be what it's supposed to be. But yeah, I don't know. Danny Dimes or Indiana Jones in Indianapolis. I don't know. It's a weird division, but I'm taking the Texans.
So I'm actually going to take the Jags for a few of the reasons you actually just mentioned. I feel like that offense kind of ticks. I don't feel like there's a ton of pressure. And those years that Jacksonville doesn't have any pressure on them, they seem to do really well. Indy's going to be a little bit, Indy's going to be a mess, I think. Tennessee, I think, will be better, but I think it's going to take them some time to click. And Houston just, I don't think the line's going to be very good, and I think that's going to really disrupt the offense. As much as a believer I am in Nick Chubb, he's not Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon did a lot for that team last year, and there's rumors speculating that he may not come back all season. And Houston has to play a a division winning schedule, which is going to be really tough. Um, so we'll see. I think Jacksonville's got an easier schedule. I'm going to take the Jags. And I just can't take the Colts or Titans at this point. Just too young, and we don't know what's going on with the quarterback situation in Indianapolis. So let's move over to the West.
I mean, I beat this quote, I'm going to say, into the ground, and I'm going to start it off again. I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes, so I'm taking the Chiefs.
I'm actually going to take the Chargers here. I think we saw last year everything went the Chiefs' way. I think this year we see everything not go the Chiefs' way. I still think the Chiefs are a playoff team, but I see the Chiefs going like 10-7, which I don't think will win the division. Harbaugh is always really, really good in his second year, no matter where he's at. And I see the Chargers taking that step forward. They got a lot more offensive weapons, which they did not have last year. So I think I'll take the Chargers.
It'd be nice
So
for the ball to not bounce the Chiefs' way every time. So until I see it, I'm not going to believe it. But yeah, the Chargers are a lot better, and the Broncos. Don't sleep on the Broncos.
I think the Broncos are going to be good too. There's a very good possibility that you see three teams out of that division make the playoffs. In my opinion, it could happen. Let's jump on over to the AFC, and we'll start in the East. Or
NFC.
NFC.
I'm running it back with the Eagles. I know after a Super Bowl, teams usually lose quite a bit of guys. Our Arizona Cardinals benefited from getting Sweat. But Hurts is one of the best in the game. Saquon had a ridiculous season. I know there's a lot of tread on those tires just from last year, having like over 400 touches or something crazy. But he's not old. He's still 28, so I think he still has another year or two of like actual elite football left in him. So I'm running it back. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. It's a good team.
Yeah, for exactly the same reasons that you mentioned. I'm taking the Eagles too. I feel like the only team right now it feels like can make a run for their money would be the Commanders, and it's just hard to bet against the Eagles, seeing what they did last year, and the fact that, especially on the offensive side of the ball, it's the same team. I get they lost some coordinators, they lost some pieces on the defense, but they've been good now for so many years repeating, and they just came off the Super Bowl. It's tough to pick anyone else. In my opinion, let's go over to the North, the hardest division, because I think all four of these teams could win the division. Who do you got?
So before the Micah Parsons trade, I had the Lions. The more I think about it, the loss of Ben Johnson going to Chicago, I think Chicago is going to be a lot better offensively. I think Caleb Williams is going to have a really good year. I mean, he's already shown that he can play in this league. But I think the loss of Ben Johnson for that offense for the Lions is going to tick them down just enough to not win the division. So I'm taking the Packers. I think Micah Parsons, albeit all these rumors you've heard about he's taking epidurals for his back and his back's messed up, no one seems to actually think that that's that big of a deal. Jerry Jones traded him there, made it well aware that that was a problem. He went through his physical. Packers don't seem to think it's a problem. So Micah Parsons, he's a problem defensively. And the Packers, I think, if they can just get a little bit healthier, their receiving core is pretty damn good. So and Josh Jacobs is super underrated. And I think Jordan Love has a bounce back season to close to like how he played his rookie year. So I'm taking the Packers.
Yeah, it's a good pick. This is the one, as I said, this is one of the hardest divisions for me. I could really go any four of these teams. I'm just going to go with the Lions. I know they lost their coordinators, but the core offense is still there. A large percentage of the defense is still there. I feel like they still have a lot to prove. I still feel like they're very hungry. I love the head coach. I'm just going to go with the Lions. When we talk about our Super Bowl picks later on, you'll see I have them basically right next to each other, though, the Packers and the Lions. And I would not be surprised if the Bears made noise. The one team, even though I say I could see them making the playoffs, the one team I wouldn't be surprised if they had a bad year would be Minnesota. And that's just because we don't know what J.J. McCarthy is going to be. But who knows? We've seen wonders out of quarterbacks come out of nowhere in Minnesota, and they're great. So, but I'll take Detroit. I just, until they don't do it, it's kind of how you feel about the Chiefs. That's kind of how I feel about the Lions. So,
Fair enough.
let's go to the South.
I'm taking the Bucks. I know they're injured. Chris Godwin's hurt. Blanking on McMillan's hurt, but I really think Ibuka or Egbuka is
Yep.
the real deal. Mike Evans, he must be drinking out of the some kind of holy water, weird grail, because the guy just never slows down. And Baker Mayfield proved last year that he is a really good quarterback. So Todd Bowles is a good defensive coach. I think he'll have that defense ready week in and week out. So I'm taking the Bucks. The rest of that division to me is just not quite there yet.
Yep.
Falcons I think will be better. It'll be interesting to see a full year of Penix. But in those last 3 games, he was fine to me. He wasn't like, oh my god, like this guy's gonna be awesome. So yeah, I don't know. The rest of that, and obviously the Saints are not good.
I mean, I wanted to go with something different as well. I have the Bucks written down. That's what I'm gonna say. I really wanted to take the Panthers, but we just don't know what Bryce Young's really gonna be because I liked a lot of the moves that they made. I think they're going to be better on the offensive side of the ball, and I also wanted to take the Falcons, but there's just this hesitancy of, man, they just can't get it right, and I just don't have enough faith in Penix yet to be like they're going to win the division. Bucks are bringing back a lot of talent too. That is it. When healthy, one of the most explosive offenses in the NFL. Just the amount of guys that they have that can just turn a game on a dime. It's tough to bet against the Bucks in that division, especially since it is so young as well. So it's the only one that's got real veterans on it. So,
And Bucky Irving too. The guy, I mean, he proved himself that he's a true workhorse back and he can catch it out of the backfield.
yeah,
I'm interested to see though if Penix starts out terrible and say the Falcons start like 1-4, 1-5, 2-6. Do they go back to Kirk Cousins?
wasn't he hurt?
Oh, he might be.
Yeah.
Is
So
he?
I don't even think he can play.
Oh, well, there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, I think he's hurt if I remember right. But yeah, who knows? It'll be interesting to see. All right, last division. Let's go to the West.
I'm taking the Niners. I think the Cardinals are like the best up and coming team in that division. And I think they could, if everything goes correctly for them, they could maybe squeak in to a playoff berth. But Seahawks, they just lost too much. I think Lockett and Metcalf leaving. I mean, that's their entire receiving core. I know Smith and Jigba had a really good year, and I really think he is a good receiver, but I'm curious to see what he's going to do against number 1 cornerbacks. Sam Darnold, he has, in my opinion, kind of a prove-it year, because, like, okay, he did it. He finally was able to put everything together in Minnesota. Well, let's see you do it again, now with a different head coach, different coordinator. In the Rams, I think Stafford is just getting kind of old, and they're just, they lost Aaron Donald a couple years ago. Stafford's back is always messed up. He hasn't played it on the preseason. Yeah, I don't even know if he's honestly fully healthy, so that'll be interesting to see. So I'm going with the Niners, mainly because if Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy all year, I think he's the best player in the NFL. He's a cheat code. I mean, he arguably... Well, not even argue. I think he's the best player in the NFL if he stays healthy.
I'm actually going to go with the Rams. The concern with me on that one, I feel like this is a division of a lot of concerns. Each team's got a big glaring weakness, and the Rams one is Stafford. Is how healthy is he going to be? But I also feel like we're going to see the transition of Matt Stafford kind of being this game manager with a lot of talent around him. And unlike Sean McVay teams of the past where they're scoring 30 points, a lot of touchdowns, explosive plays, this is a very, very good defense. That the last time we saw them, they they nearly beat the Eagles, and they stopped the Eagles, which was something that no other team could really do. That defense is really good, and it might be one of those things where they tell the offensive ball, hey, we just need to score 2 touchdowns and a couple of field goals, and that probably will get it done. You're not asking the team to score 32 points or something like that crazy. This might be a defense that on average is giving up like 15 to 20 points a game, which is ridiculous in this NFL
Yeah.
because they have Jared Verse is
Jared
legit.
Verse is a freak.
Yeah, I mean they've got some great defensive players, and that's going to be a tough defense to score on. And yeah, I mean Matt Stafford's not going to have to do a lot when the aspect of you got Williams, you've got Nakua still there. Now you have Devontae Adams there. You have a slew of different tight ends there. Sean McVay is going to figure out a way with Stafford's age to get the ball moving, and the defense I think is going to put them in great spots all season. So I'm going to take the Rams. So, all right, should we make some picks?
Let's do it.
All right, let's start out tonight. Dallas heading to Philadelphia. This is going to be a tough one for Dallas, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think their defense is quite up to snuff. I'm interested to see how Pickens and CD play now with Dak back and healthy. They don't have a run game. I honestly, Javonte Williams is a starter. I doubt he's the starter for that long. Maybe he has a redemption season. But I know they drafted Jaden Blue for a reason, so I wouldn't be surprised if he gets some carries. But I can't go against the Eagles. Not at home, not coming off the Super Bowl. I don't think they're going to have... I just don't think they're going to have any trouble with these Cowboys. So I'm going Eagles.
Yeah, I'm going to go Eagles too. There's going to be too much crowd excitement, everything like that. I saw a crazy stat. It's this game, I think it's like the last 24 years has been won like 18 times by the Super Bowl champion. So this is not an easy task being the road team going into this environment. And especially since this is a Dallas team that defensively, they're going to be bad. But it could be I think it's going to be a great watch. I think we're going to see a lot of scoring, but I don't know how Dallas is going to stop really anybody this year. That's my opinion. Tomorrow night, heading down to Brazil. This is becoming an annual thing. Kansas City taking on the Chargers.
I'm keeping it simple, just like I did last year, and it really didn't bite me in the butt too many times. I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes, so I'm taking the Chiefs.
I'm actually going to take the Chargers. I'm going to see how this goes. I think this Harbaugh year 2 kicks out real fast, and I just have this feeling Kansas City starts out slow. So, and in Brazil, I think Harbaugh is going to have them motivated and ready to go, and I think Kansas City just getting a little older. So this long travel may not be the best. I'll take the Chargers.
Yeah, this could be Travis Kelce's swan song post engagement. So
yeah. All right, let's move to Sunday. The exciting days. Start with a divisional matchup. Actually, all these have been divisional matchups so far. Tampa Bay going to Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bucks. I want to see Penix prove it to me. I don't think Bijan is ready to just fully carry the offense. And I think Baker and them boys are going to be fired up. So I'm taking the Bucks.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bucks as well. I don't have much to add there. I think all these games are going to be competitive. It's week 1. Everyone comes out firing. So I expect this to be a close game, but I'll take the Bucks. This next one could be very interesting. Could have a lot of scoring. Cincinnati, Cleveland.
I'm taking the Bengals based on what you said earlier. They're going to give up a lot of points, but I think their offense is just going to score more. And the Browns are starting 85-year-old Joe Flacco, so couldn't even tell you who their running back is. I know Quinshon Judkins was supposed to be the guy, but he's had his off-the-field issues. I think it's like Dylan Sampson or maybe Jerome Ford. And they don't do it for me, so I'm taking Burrow and Chase. I think that's the best quarterback wide receiver combo in the NFL right now. So I'm taking the Bengals.
I'm also going to take the Bengals, but there's a crazy stat here that just blows my mind. The Bengals, the last 4 years, their first 3 games of the season, they've started 1-11.
That's
That's
bad.
horrible.
That's
So
bad.
they're terrible to start the season. So you really hope that they get it clicking earlier this season because a lot of the jokes have been Cincinnati's been playing from behind a lot these last 4 years, and it would be nice for them to at least start 1-0 or at least 1-1 to start the season because it's been a tough. They've put themselves in a hole every single year, and they've been trying to dig themselves out of it. I see them coming out with fire, some sort of a different game plan to beat a divisional foe. I'll take Cincinnati, even though the numbers the last 4 years go against them. Um, Two teams that don't have a lot of pressure on them this year because there's a lot of things going in flux almost, it feels like. Miami, Indianapolis.
I'm taking the Colts mainly because they're at home. That's the only kind of edge that I could tell myself. I think Daniel Jones does run that offense a little better than Anthony Richardson. Um, and we might honestly see the Jonathan Taylor show. I mean, we know what Danny Dimes is. He's sort of a game manager. He runs a lot too on his own, so this could be a ground and pound type game for Indy. Um, yeah, I want to see the Dolphins prove it to me. Tyreek's getting older, always hurt. Waddle always hurt. Achan always hurt.
Uh-huh.
Tua always hurt. Those guys, it's not even that they're injury prone. It just seems like they're always stepping the wrong way or getting hit at the wrong moment in the wrong part of the body. So, one bad hit to Tua and that offense just goes way
Yeah.
down. So, yeah, I'm taking the Colts.
I'm actually going to take Miami for actually the reasons you just mentioned. It's the beginning of the season. They do have their bangs, but no one's been banged up severely yet, and everyone's supposed to play for the most part. So I will take Miami right now. Usually they start well and then they fade away. But Miami in the September, October months usually is a very good team. Everyone gets hyped and then they fade away into oblivion. Indianapolis is just too many questions where what's going to be on the offense and all that stuff. And I'll just take Miami. I feel like there'll be some explosive plays to start the season. And McDaniels wants to get his name back out there because he's been kind of forgotten about a little bit, in my opinion. Um, next game, Vegas, New England, two veteran coaches coaching in new places.
I'm taking the Raiders in this one. I don't know if you want to call that an upset or not, but I'm a Genty believer. Geno Smith is a great veteran quarterback. He already has a rapport with Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's a great coach. I think Pete's going to have these guys, kind of fired up. It's basically a brand new Raiders team all around the board, minus maybe Jacoby Myers. Um, yeah, like I said earlier, the Patriots are going to be better. I do like Drake May. I couldn't tell you. I honestly couldn't name you a wide receiver on that team. And Travion Henderson has looked good in the preseason. It's the preseason. Let's see him actually do it against, the number one defense for 4 quarters. So I'm taking the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm taking the Raiders for a lot of the same reasons you just mentioned. So I'm not going to add too much. I'm taking the Raiders, and I feel like that's a toss-up game. Next game, I feel like I know where both of us are going on this one. Arizona, New Orleans.
Yeah, I'm taking the Cardinals. If this game was a home game, I feel like they could win by like 2 touchdowns. But the fact that they're favored on the road by like a touchdown
Mhm.
and a half, I believe. I don't know if I said that right. I'll just say 6.5 points.
Mhm.
Um, it would take a lot for the Saints to beat this Cardinals team. I just don't think Spencer Rattler or he's the starter or say it were Tyler Shuck. They haven't proven anything to where they can really move an offense at all. So I'm taking the Cardinals. I think Marvin Harrison's going to have a solid, first game. He's got a lot of scrutiny in media breathing down his neck. Same with Kyler too. This is a huge season for Kyler Murray because I'm not going to say the Cardinals have to make the playoffs, but if they don't take a step forward and Kyler looks underwhelming, the Monty Austinfort crew might be like, all right, it's time to get our own guy in here. So But I think the Cardinals get out to a 1-0 start.
Yeah, I got nothing to add there. Taking the Cardinals. It should be the easiest game of the week, but you never know in the NFL. I'll take the Cardinals. Next game, Aaron Rodgers Bowl. Pittsburgh heading to the Jets.
Yeah, you could also call this a Justin Fields Bowl too.
Yeah, this
And
one. Yeah,
I'm taking Justin Field and the Jets. Unpopular opinion. I think the Steelers have a really good defense. Aaron Rodgers, another year older. What is he, 42, 43? I mean, he's older. Things I've read haven't said that he's like, been looking great. We'll see how he looks, I guess. But Father Time hits everyone, unfortunately. And I think that, Justin Fields will have at least a little bit of relief knowing that this is his team and he's not going to get pulled after a couple weeks for Russell Wilson. So I'm taking Justin Fields to pepper Garrett Wilson and hand the ball off to Brees Hall and Braylon. Um, shoot, Braylon. What's his
Allen.
last
Allen.
name? Braylon Allen.
Yeah.
So I'm taking the Jets.
So I'm actually going to take Pittsburgh. I think this is going to be two teams that are going to head in different directions throughout the season. I think Pittsburgh actually starts out to a hot start and then fades away. I think the Jets start cold and actually get hot throughout the season. I think just at the beginning of the year, this is going to be kind of a misleading situation. I think Pittsburgh wins, Jets lose. I think it's going to be kind of a defensive battle more than anything else. Um, but I'm going to take I'll take Aaron Rodgers to win this one, and I think both these teams are going to be kind of rough, though. I think one team, though, at the end of the year, you're going to feel like, oh, I feel good about it, which I think is the Jets. I think Pittsburgh, we're going to not feel so good about their situation at the end of the year. All right, we're kicking it with another divisional matchup. Giants, Washington. Who do you got?
I'm taking the Commanders. I think Russell Wilson will be a nice addition, I think, for the first half of the season for the Giants. And, he gets to play with Malik Neighbors. But he's just not the Russell Wilson of old. And they just don't have a lot of playmakers minus Malik Neighbors on that team. Commanders have a lot of playmakers. They brought over Debo Samuel. Terry McLaurin got his contract figured out. The whole Brian Robinson thing was kind of weird. They just kind of jettisoned him off to the Niners. That was a little strange. Not that he'd been like a super dominant running back, but he wasn't bad. And Jaden Daniels has already basically said, I'm one of the top quarterbacks in this league. And they have a really good defense, too. Dan Quinn has them obviously playing very well as they were a playoff team. And we're close to making the Super Bowl. They looked like a team that could really go far. And I think they're just going to be a lot better. So I'm taking the Commanders easily to handle the Giants.
Yep, I got the Commanders, too. Not much to add there. Carolina going to Jacksonville.
I'm taking the Jags. I think Liam Cohen just has that team playing a little better offensively. And like you had mentioned with the Jags in that division, they're just kind of they have no pressure. They have like a three-headed running back monster of Bigsby, ETN, and like Busan or whatever that guy's name is. If he even plays, really. It might just be ETN and Bigsby. And then obviously adding Heisman winner Travis Hunter along with Brian Thomas. I mean, that could be a scary offense if Trevor Lawrence finally lives up to what he's supposed to be. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And Travis Hunter, it will be interesting to see how much he plays on defense. I know he's listed as a starting receiver and just going to be a rotational cornerback, but yeah, I don't know. It'll be fun to watch just because we haven't seen anything like this since basically Deion Sanders. Maybe Troy Branch with the Patriots.
I got Jags as well. Both these teams are going to be very interesting to watch throughout the season, but right now I'm going to take Jacksonville, mainly because they're playing at home. We're going to kick to the afternoon games. Tennessee heading to Denver. I think this might be one of the easiest games of the weekend.
Yeah, betting on a number one pick to win his first game is always a tough ask. And Cam Ward is. I like Cam Ward in the long run, but just not against this Broncos team at home. I'm taking the Broncos and Bo Nix.
Nice and simple, doing the same thing. San Francisco heading up to Seattle.
I'm taking the Niners on the road. I think, like I mentioned before, healthy CMC is a cheat code, and I think he just absolutely manhandles the Seahawks.
Yeah, I don't have much to add to this one. I know it's a divisional game. I know Seattle's a tough place to play, but I also like San Francisco fairly healthy going into this game. Seattle is just a lot of new pieces, and I just don't see it clicking in this first one. It's a tough matchup for Seattle in week one, playing a divisional foe. So I'm going to take San Francisco. Probably game of the weekend, in my opinion. I know there's a lot of great games on the slate, but Detroit heading to Green Bay.
So I'm taking the Lions. I don't think Micah Parsons has had long enough to really gel yet with his defense. And the like I mentioned, I do like the Packers in the long run. Right now, they're still pretty banged up. Um, so they're going to be relying on a rookie receiver in Golden to kind of be their their main downfield threat for Jordan Love. Um, Everything you mentioned about the Lions for the division, I'm kind of dittoing that into this. I just think that, they're going to be fired up. Montgomery's back and healthy for that 1-2 punch with him and Gibbs. Amon Ra's good. Jameson Williams is very, very good. I think Goff's going to actually have a pretty good game, and I'm taking the Lions.
So, funny thing here is I'm actually going to take Green Bay, and it's because it's in Green Bay. That's about as far as I'm going to stretch on this one. It's a toss-up game, in my opinion, but I'll give the edge to Green Bay because it's in Green Bay. I think Michael Parsons' injury is kind of getting overblown. I think he comes in firing. We see a lot of these defensive guys get traded before the season or switch teams and not have a lot of reps, and they come in and they become, busters of the whole offense. I think the Packers win. I think they just have a lot of explosive firepower, and I think it's going to be a really good game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout in any stretch, but I'll take Green Bay purely because they got the home field advantage.
I'll say this.
Um,
I'll say this too. The Lions are lucky that they're getting Green Bay now, as opposed to later in the season when that, truly is the frozen tundra.
sure, very true. Houston headed to LA to play the Rams.
I'm taking the Texans just because I don't know what Matthew Stafford's health is going to be like. Stroud is healthy. Like you had mentioned with Nick Chubb, the running game is going to be a little interesting because Mixon's hurt. But I think a healthy Nico Collins and C.J. Stroud is just a better 1-2 punch than a potentially banged up Stafford and Devontae Adams. So I'm taking the Texans.
So I'm just going to repeat to what I said with the Rams winning division. I'm going to say basically the same thing. I think the Rams win this because of defense. That's it.
Defense.
I think defense shuts down the Texans' offense, and I don't expect this to be a very fun offensive game to watch, but defensively, it's going to be like a 17-10 type game, and it's going to be just a defensive juggernaut by the Rams. Great game here as well. Sunday Night Football, Baltimore, Buffalo.
I am taking the Bills just because they're at home. That's really the only reason I have. We've seen these quarterbacks duel before. It's always close and great games, but I'm just taking Josh Allen because he's at home. If this was in Baltimore, I probably would have taken Baltimore, but I'm taking the Bills.
Same exact answer. I'll take the Bills. I bet you we see this exact same matchup later in the playoffs in January. But yeah, exactly the same thing. That's why I circled them. I've got the Bills. Monday Night Football. Interesting one. Minnesota and the Bears.
I'm taking the Bears again because they're at home, and I think the mystery around J.J. McCarthy just hasn't quite been figured out. I want to see, if he really can play at this level. I think he can. Jefferson's hamstring is also a little concerning. I want to see him actually play a full game because the update I saw a couple days ago was that he's still not fully healed, and if he re-aggravates that hamstring and has to go out of the game, there's no Jordan Addison to bail JJ McCarthy out. It then goes to like Adam Thielen at that point, and he's pretty old. He's still okay, but he's not the Adam Thielen of old. So yeah, I'm taking the Bears. I just think Caleb Williams is really good. I really like Rome Odunze. And I'm curious to see how Ben Johnson kind of throws his Lions flair into that Bears offense.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bears as well. Starting your first NFL start as a quarterback is usually rough. Just how it goes, and yeah, I think the Bears need to show a strong offensive presence early in the season. So I wouldn't be surprised if they come out firing because Caleb Williams still has a lot of naysayers out there. There's a lot of Ben Johnson kind of needs to show, okay, it wasn't just Detroit. I'm great at what I do as well. So I expect even these first 4 weeks, Chicago comes out showing their A playbook. And I think Minnesota is going to be a little bit more in that game manager. What is JJ McCarthy able to really do mode? So, all right, that's week one. Want to do our top five real quick?
Let's knock it out.
All right, who do you got for you? I'll let you just go one through or five through one for your Super Bowl picks, and I'll do mine.
Yeah, I'm not going to really talk much. I think we've mentioned a lot of these teams a lot.
Yep.
But yeah, I'll just go 5 through 1. 5, I got the 49ers,
Okay.
praying for a healthy CMC.
Okay.
4, I have the Lions.
Okay.
3, I have the Ravens. 2, I have the Bills. And 1, I have the Eagles.
Okay. We are very similar. So five, I have the Packers.
Okay.
Four, I have the Lions. Three, I have the Bills. Two, I have the Ravens, and one, I have the Eagles.
It's hard to not pick the Eagles. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be some regression, but even a regressed Eagles offense, I still think they can just get it done. And their defense will be flying around.
I guess the surprise for both of us there is no Chiefs.
Yeah, no Chiefs. I think that run is over. I think the kingdom is has fallen.
Yeah, I think if you're comparing them to the Patriots run, we're now in like that 09, 10, 11 area where they're going to be still very competitive, but their Super Bowls aren't going to come. So I think that's where we're at. Um, yeah. All right. Before anything else, or before we log off here, anything you want to add?
Uh, I don't think so. We're playing each other in fantasy week 1, so that'll be fun.
How bad of luck is that? I was like the one person I didn't want to play from week one. It's like great, fantastic, because I have to play you twice, which sucks.
Yeah, well, we'll see. As we've
Yeah.
talked about, fantasy. I mean, real life is always more fun. Fantasy is always just a frustration because what you think should happen never happens,
Yeah.
and it's just really a war of attrition. If your players can stay healthy, obviously the waiver wire helps. You always have to make a couple waiver wire ads here and there, but if your first, second, and maybe even third round picks can just stay healthy through the year, normally those are the teams that do well. So
Does wonders. All right, everyone will enjoy the first NFL game of the 2025 season tonight. We'll be back tomorrow talking college football, as that is now into week two. So we will see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy NFL this weekend. Games on Monday. No, sorry, games on Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Monday, and college football to fill in that Saturday. We're in the full swing of it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's enjoy it. It's great. Best time of the year.